Welcome back to day 2 of Gateway to Wonderland. I hope you had an amazing day yesterday and you had lots of fun exploring your desires and what they would give you. And if you remember, at the end of the day, we took those desires and looked at what it was that those desires would give you. What were the feelings that you wanted to conjure up? And I shared with you my favourite saying of all times, which was, you can have anything you want as long as you give up your pictures about the way they should look. And we are going to be taking what we started with yesterday, that one step further and going a little bit deeper. So we looked at emotions. We started to look at feelings. What will those desires give you? What is it that you crave? What is your longing? And so, you see, anything we do in life, we all do it to elicit emotion, to feel a certain way. So the desire for money is that desire for stability, it's that desire for security. When we go on holiday, we want to have fun. We want to feel maybe excitement. If we go on an adventure, we want to feel excited and surprised and thrilled. Like all the things that we do it in order to feel a certain way. And we're going to be exploring our feelings today and how that relates to your everyday life. Because sometimes it's not about what do I want, it's how do I want to feel. So I am very, very kinesthetic. So for me, feelings are everything. So I tend to go a little bit overboard. But what I'm going to be sharing with you today is not so much about specific feelings and feeling a certain way. It's looking at those feelings differently as they relate to your life. So if we take our desires and we take those feelings that we want to have and we look at them, the chances are they're all going to be on the scale of positive feelings. So feeling happy, feeling excited, feeling joyful, feeling peaceful, whatever else that it is that you want to feel. I'm guessing nowhere on that list are you going to have feeling anger, feeling sad, feeling annoyed, frustrated, irritated. It's just unlikely to be there. And so what we're saying when we look at our desires is that we want to feel a certain way. We want to feel positive. So yes, there's going to be a wide variety of desires, but they all hinge on what we're calling positive desires. Now, we only know them as positive and negative desires because we've learned them that way. Somebody told us that when we got cross as children, we learned this is anger, this is bad, mustn't feel like that. Stop being angry, play nicely, like all of those things. When we were feeling sad or unhappy and we cried, chances are we were crying over something that our parents or our carers considered to be trivial. And so we were told, don't cry, big boys don't cry, big girls don't cry, it's okay, you're fine, stop crying, stop messing around, stop being silly. And so we learned that crying, sadness, was bad. Don't feel that way. And crying in society is not really accepted. So we try and quash our emotions. We try to squish them down so that we only feel like the positive emotions, the good emotions. Like when we're feeling sad, we don't want to show it. When we're feeling grumpy, we might decide not to go out because we're in a bad mood. And so we learn that we should only have a limited number of emotions, and they're all on the quote unquote positive side. And I want to put a slightly different perspective on that idea. And that we're not here to feel a limited range of emotions. We are here to feel the full range of emotions. And the best way to share this idea with you is to look at either a storybook, or a movie, particularly a movie. So when we go to the movies, when we go to watch a film, films are written, films are created to elicit emotion in the audience, in the people that go and watch it. We want them to feel a certain way. And so the directors or the producers, like, they go to great length to present the film in such a way that you will feel what they desire you to feel. So they'll create the whole set. So if they want you to feel suspense, that it's like dark and there's some eerie music going on, so that you feel frightened or nervous, or like my son calls it jump scares. Or when there's something sad happening, there's usually again subdued music and low lighting, so that we can feel that the woman's pain as her daughter is being like operated on, and the anguish that she is experiencing. And also when someone's happy, with there'll be like lots of light and lots of joyful music, and it's designed so that we'll feel the happiness of the character. So when we go to the movies, we get taken on a journey. We get taken on a roller coaster of both the storyline, like what's going to happen, and the emotions that we feel. Like a really great movie, like the ones that you love, and we each love different ones. I love thrillers, and I love dramas, and I like lots of things actually. But the really great ones are the ones that move us, and it takes us on a journey, so that we forget we are sat in the movie theatre. We are, just got to use Titanic because it's come to mind. We are Rose in Titanic. We are that one we are that heroine that longs for freedom. Or we're Jack who is playful and longs for a better life. So we become those characters. It's the same when we read a story. We get drawn into a book or that novel, and we become the hero, we become the heroine. We feel what they're feeling to a point. So obviously we are limited to sort of like feeling a certain way, as it were. It's designed to elicit that. Sometimes we'll feel angry, like, how dare that person do that to our hero or our heroine? Like, that's not right, and we get all uptight and irritated. But we don't stop and think, hang on a second, I'm feeling angry here, I shouldn't be feeling angry. Or I'm feeling sad, oh no, stop feeling sad, don't cry. We just sit and we watch the movie. And we love it, we enjoy it. If it's a movie that we love, now we get taken through a whole range of emotions. Now imagine if we went to see that same movie and we didn't feel anything. All we did was we watched the hero get one good thing after another, and all he experienced was happiness and joy and delight. Say he's on an adventure and he's got to find the Holy Grail, for example. I love Indiana Jones. And he goes, and there's a cave, and he goes and he finds the Grail, and he gets it, and he takes it back, and he's a hero, and everyone loves him. That would be a really dull movie. No one will go and see it, or if we did go and see it, we'd walk out. when we're going to watch movies, we don't just want to experience one range of emotions. We don't just want happy, 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 because it would be so boring. We want to feel everything. And it is the same with life. It's just that we don't look at it that way. If we went through life and good things happened to us the whole time, it would be boring. Even my 15-year-old son said this to me a couple of weeks ago, that if he was a billionaire or a millionaire and he could just buy everything he wanted, life would be boring. And in fact, he actually had this game called Farming Simulator, and he's quite smart, and he managed to like cheat the system, and he gave himself like, I don't know how many, £1 billion. And so the idea of the game would be to sort of generate an income through farming. Well, he just gave himself like such a sum of money that he could just buy everything, and it made the game really, really boring for him. So he stopped playing it because there was no fun in that. And so on the one hand, we think that life would be amazing if we were just made an overnight millionaire, just like that. When in truth, the actual quest for having a successful business, the journey to that place is what we actually crave, to feel that range of emotions that we feel in the same way that we feel them watching a movie, that we feel the emotions in our life, that we can feel anxiety, that maybe that whether this person's going to buy or not. We can feel the delight when someone says yes. We can feel the frustration or the sadness when they say no, or we have a ruck of no's, all one after another. Now, at the time when we're experiencing it, we make those feelings wrong. We think we shouldn't feel life shouldn't be like that. But it goes back to that concept of, if we were to watch a film where only good things happen, we'd be really bored. The same with life. It would be really boring just to have one good thing after another happen. Now, when we're struggling, when we're experiencing stress, the thought of just being handed £1 million on a plate, or like whatever problem we're struggling with, just like magicked away instantly, I could go with that, right? There were times like throughout, certainly at times in the last, well, probably forever, but even in the last couple of years, I would have given anything to have finger snapping magic. It's like, I've had enough now. And I got this concept that we don't want to feel positive and happy. We don't just want to feel happy the whole time. That we actually want that whole range of emotions, that like I could get, that I could experience that at the film, at the cinema, reading a book. But I was sick of like just everything going wrong the whole time. And yes, I would have taken the finger snapping magic any day. Like, please give me that. It's only looking back that I can appreciate that the journey that it's taken from there to get me to here, there was so much learning, there was so much growth. It wasn't all doom and gloom followed by this magical line in the sand. And that's the joy of the journey. It's similar to watching games or sports. You know, I don't tend to watch that many team games, but when my son was playing football, I'd go and watch him playing football, and he was in a team that wasn't so great, and they would lose every time, and it would get really disheartening the whole time, just seeing him lose constantly over and over. But it wasn't fun for the winning team either, because the winning team were almost rooting for the underdogs, as it were, because they were just maybe didn't have the same kind of skills as the other team. They wanted them to win. It just became boring. Like the best games are the ones that are a closely contested match where the skills of one team and the skills of another team match. And we want, like, it's that will they, won't they. Those are the best kind of games to watch. And that's more like the invitation is to look at this fallacy that we actually want our lives to just experience the same emotion, to just be happy all the time, or to only feel positive emotions, because honestly, that isn't what we want. We want to be challenged. Like, can you imagine an action adventure, whatever it is, whether it's James Bond, Indiana Jones, whatever adventure someone goes on, and they simply, like, there's no challenges, there's no baddies. Can you imagine a film without a baddie? Like, what would the hero do? There's always someone who's out to thwart the hero. And it's the same in our lives. It might not be a particular person, it might be life. It might be the business environment. Might be, I was going to say your accountant, but you get the idea that there's always like a villain, whether it's life itself or whether it's a particular person in there. And deep down, we relish the challenge. So in the same way that there's a movie, we grow through our challenges. And we like that. We sign up for challenges. How many people sign up to race the London Marathon or take on a physical challenge that we know is going to be hard, we know it's going to test us, we know it's going to push us. We do it because we know it'll help us grow. We do it because we think it sounds fun. And if we approach life in the same way, so we tend to think of our businesses as being like, it's the holy grail. It's what we need to do in order to achieve happiness. But if instead we look at that as being an exploration, an adventure, a journey, and there's going to be ups and downs, then our whole experience of it will be different. We will experience it in such a different way, because we're no longer placing such an emphasis on the end result. Because when we think of Wonderland, we think of the happily ever after. We think of almost like a line in the sand. And when we cross over that threshold, like, we're here now and life's challenging, life sucks, life's difficult, life's icky. And then when we cross over to that threshold, when we've hit the 6 figures, when we've met our soulmate, everything will be hunky-dory. Well, life doesn't work like that. Neither do stories. In reality, what happens is we take a step forward. We meet an obstacle. We get scared. We step back. Then we take another step forward. We get scared. We step back. So it's like this dance that we do. And each of the times we're moving that little bit forward, a little bit forward. And if we know that dynamic is going to play out, we're aware of it, we're prepared for it, then we can see the challenges for what they are. They're simply challenges. We can kind of enjoy them and feel those emotions, like whatever comes up. Little children and little babies do not cling on to emotions, they just express them. They have temper tantrums. And what we try and do is stop those. Like, that's bad. We don't want to see a toddler having a temper tantrum. But actually, if we didn't care about what other people think and we just allow that toddler to stamp his feet and just love him through that, then that will pass, and then that toddler's going to be completely right as rain again. It's like babies will cry. You take the rattle off them, they cry, you give it back, and they're smiling again. Now we're not babies, we're not toddlers, we are actually adults. But our emotions are so important to us, and we actually need and want to feel the full range of emotions, not just the happy clappy ones. I get really frustrated when people focus on happiness, because I used to focus on happiness. That was my goal, to be happy. And since I've started to allow all my emotions, all of them as being valid, all of them as being allowed, permissible, I allow myself to cry, I allow myself to get angry, I allow myself to feel sad. What I don't do is take that anger out on someone else. If I'm feeling angry or grumpy, then I let my family know I'm a bit grumpy today, I'd stay away. I take myself out so I don't then pass that on, because it's not fair on them, it's not about them. And the best advice that I was given once was, feelings can't be wrong. And often what we do is we'll make sadness wrong. You shouldn't feel sad. But if we're feeling sad, the best thing we can do is allow the sadness to flow through us. And the more we do that, the sooner it will dissipate, the sooner it will be turned to joy. We need the sadness to feel joy. It's the same with our hands. It's like we have the back of our hands and the front of our hands, or we can't take away the back without taking away the front. They're two, there's two sides of the same coin, as it were. And it's the same with our emotions. We have sadness, we have joy. We need them both. There's that expression, stars can't shine in the light. You only see stars in the darkness. And this is a journey that we go on. It's not at one point in time we just allow all emotions to flow through us. Again, it's that we take a step forward in allowing the emotions, and then we find ourselves beating ourselves up for being sad, or being cross, or being irritated, or being frustrated. And then we stop, we see that we're being frustrated, and it's a dance. And that's why it's really great to have support as you go on this journey, because we can't always see our own stuff. We can't see where we're getting stuck. We can't see our blind spots. And it's easier, and to be truthful, it's more fun as well when you have that support around you. So, but the idea of allowing all our feelings, all of them, not making any of them wrong, shifts everything. Like this alone, if you just stop here, not that I recommend you do, but if you were just to take this one training and apply it to your life, this can shift everything. This was huge for me, from basically wanting to curl up on the sofa and make the world stop, to delighting in life. And it's not that only good things happen. I'm dealing with challenges in my life. I feel angry and sad and cross and grumpy. I still feel all of those, but they don't last. Like this morning before I recorded this, there was something happened and it triggered me, and I went and I thought it was going to stop me from recording this video for you. But I just allowed myself to feel what I felt, and it passed quickly. Whereas a year ago, I would be holding on to that for weeks. So your challenge for today is to, as you go through the day or the evening or whenever it is that you look at that, there's only this one video for today, there isn't another coming back. I want you to notice how you feel, and to notice the soundtrack in your head, so the voices that you're telling yourself, like don't feel sad, don't feel frustrated. So just notice, like take a little notebook if you want, if it's helpful for you. Notice the emotions that you're feeling throughout the day, whether you want to do it as you go with a little notebook, or whether it's in bed tonight as you're going to sleep, or at some point during the day you just look and you think, okay, how did I feel, and what did I make of that feeling? So I'm going to leave it there. I will see you tomorrow for day 3, and I can't wait. And take care, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.